you something from my brainstorming in my head, and the title is Showing for Hindlimb Conformation Fauls, but I change it to specific. And sometimes we wonder what we see and how a horse can move, and so it's the extreme what explain the range of movement or the range of motion. Yeah, it's our job to do something on the horse, but it's the horse itself what is in the end an excellent mover or not. So, very long time ago, there is some information coming from Xenophon and Socrates, and they describe a horse what is for riding or for eating. So conformation is directly linked to performance and muscular skeleton health or disorder or order. It describes the outer shape sometime, and sometime you can read it's just together with the posture, so the posture, what we see, and so, and we struggle a lot. But, however, conformation is often used by breeders, judges, riders, vets, and farriers. And that is the most important to know in the practical day. Interesting today is conformation for function and dysfunction. And so here I write down how it could move, and second, how it could stay. But in the modern riding stables, horses stay 20 hours and just 1 hour they move. So maybe in Frankfurt or in Munich, and not so often in England, they can go out on the field. A farrier need to look on the hind end, and it's easy to look, and with a bit practice and knowledge comes also from fantastic tables, books, and you can find something in them how a co-hocket will have some critical areas or not. And then we know very quickly, and it's on our own notes on a piece of paper, what is a shoe puller, what is a front engine horse, what is a rope walker, what is a stumbler, what is a performance horse, and maybe what is a heavy hacker. However, from my BSc degree, there is a deeper look with a locomotion camera, and you can see some things what you before tried to see, but you can't see that with the naked eye. And from reading in the books, you pin on some markers on with your eyes on the horse itself, or with a pencil or whatever, and you can see how a hock flex or not, how a foot slide in the surface, how it decelerate, how it accelerate, and how it maybe is the concussion of the horse. And so by assessing with conformation plus these dynamic information in your brain, especially on modern surface, and with the hind limbs especially, and how it distort the foot, that makes a lot of thinking in your head, and it comes to a treatment plan. So from Anton Lungwitz, we also know in the book that the horse have a dominant and have the dominant effect how the hoof looks like. Physiotherapists maybe say it's the upper horse what tell them dysfunction or function. The horse itself, it knows. But it's our interest here and also in the practical day, what is function for individual horse with all the pathologies? What is dysfunction on that horse or on other horses? So we can compare sometime the same horse or with other horses, maybe from the same breed. And so our interests are also what is the cause for this horse, for that problem, which structure are involved. Then it comes to treatment options and the prognosis for what? Is it a longer performance horse or will be better for the field or whatever? So the hind limb is, in my opinion, very important to know how it pushed the horse forward and how it have an effect on the whole horse. There are many books they describe the forehand is just similar than our hand. It is for, say, hello, yeah, like tortillas or so. They said hello with the front, but it carry everything with the hind. So the hind limb is also necessary, and not also the front limb, for these stability, flexibility and Manöverfähigkeit. And that we name them sometimes horseshoeing orthopedic or remedial, but I see more they do it in the front and not on the hind. But when one push from a hind limb is different, it will affect the whole horse. So with modern tools, we are able to see more than with the naked eye. And it's more that they do it on dogs than on horses. Together with this different muscle work on the horse, it comes to different stride length, to different protraction, retraction, whatever, different shape. And I did it a couple of times in the lot with this on-track software. I mentioned them yesterday too. And we had some practical Farrier cases. We was not sure, is it right, what we did, everything, is there some weakness? Because it's rare to find a colleague, they do it in the same way. But I believe it has to come popular, similar than in human sports. So in a different case, it's just making a picture, using measurements or description. What's not well, what's not right, what is different, what is specific. And we had a plan later, what we want to do, also for the future, also for the next case, that we can compare it to the next case, that we can use it on the next case, that we can share it with other professionals. And then it is necessary to describe conclusion, discussion, potential relevance. And at last but not least, also everybody need a simple take-home message. What is the cause? What is the symptom? Then I found a picture, and I take it, and I use this picture many times on horses. And is it a typical right hind limb problem, what we see every day, or many days? And can we correct them, or we can just limitate them? A different case, on the yard. You see the upper horse, you see the foot, and you use this modern technology for saving, for document. And then it begins maybe that you have a plan and you bang on a shoe and you have to describe something. And you see, is it really necessary for that horse to have a lateral extension here? Or is it quite well enough to have a lateral extension with the normal shape of the shoe when the horn was bent inside? There are some points, some arguments. Frog engagement, less lateral hoof bend. Maybe here it depends on the surface and it depends how the horse moves. You have more lateral bend on the hoof, on the horn. And so you make your own notes and your own conclusion, and it comes to the part that all the parts inside of the hoof have to do the job right well. You interpret, is your lateral enough, too much, or is it necessary? You also interact with different people here for surface builder. You're using high-speed camera technique maybe to identify how it goes. You have consulting with high experience farrier, like John Ford. And then maybe you have some reports and results. What is similar and what in human shoemaking. And then it comes to the part that you compare human walk and horse walk, how they walk, how they go on different surface. And I found a lot in human, the impulse in horizontal and vertical direction from the left to the right must be similar, must be equilibrium for the spine. And that makes, in my opinion, a lot of brainstorming and sense. So with my son, he is much younger than I'm quicker in the technology. We come to a quick eye proving system, and we prove how the horse walk, how the horse jump, and so. What tell me an X-ray, pre and post? An X-ray is just a picture from a standing horse. And so, sorry, wrong way. And so it comes to many practical cases that we compare horses, how they jump, how they walk. We compare them, how they walk in April and how they walk in May, or under different. And we come to the stage that we create population. And we say, this is typical for Icelandics. This is typical for dressage. This is typical for a 1 meter jump, and this is typical for a 1 meter oxer. And in the end, it is a horse what we all want for locomotion exercise. And it's time to change something and learning, maybe with the next generation. And here is an example, and we name them negative palmar or plantar Hufkapsel angle. That is the problem with the technology. No. No, it did not. I explain it. we had a horse, and we just make a marker on the a horizontal marker on the horse's foot, unshot, and very quickly later we bang on a bar shoe. And an experienced rider tested the horse, and the experienced rider said, yeah, now my horse feels much better. It comes to a different hoof interaction with the ground. We all will believe it, but we have not seen them enough, not in a practical situation. And the point is, we do it not making public to the horse owner, to many breeders and trainers, that they believe in my work. They see it just in a Horse and Hound magazine. But they saw it on my screen in the car, and they sit on them, and they said, yeah, that's it. These shoes on my horse, and the next, please, film them again. It doesn't matter how it looks in the foot, with an X-ray or with an ultrasound. They want to see it with the naked eye. You will believe it. So take-home message, it's also a little bit difficult to understand and to read, and maybe you know it, but maybe not. The hind limb is completely different to the front limb, we all know that, but to describe it with simple words, how it works. It's stemming the whole horse forward. It's pushing them in a forward and in an upper way. And if you sit on a horse in gallop and it do this, you have a fantastic feeling. But if you have a rope walker or an Icelandic with a stiff back, it's a locomotion gait. It's horrible. Take this home message together with the impulsion in horizontal and vertical direction, and the next time I will explain front limb conformation force. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jurgen.